Yo, what's up with y'all boys and girls, man? Today we're gonna get into if fuel system cleaner is worth it for you. Worth it, worth the money, worth the time and effort, worth putting into your schedule. But yeah, I'll break this down in little segments, but let's just get right into it. You might be new to this and not exactly know what you're getting into, but basically it's a detergent. It cleans out your system and it keeps your car running how it should be, because your car builds up carbon and all that stuff inside the engine as it just, you know, does its thing. So fuel system cleaner is supposed to clean those things. It's supposed to clean like your fuel injectors, intake valves, fuel lines, stuff like that. Get rid of the gunk and grime all up in there. There's fuel stations that have their own detergent, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Yeah, it can kind of help with smoothing out your car a little bit, which kind of brings me into my next point. Typically, newer cars, say like 50K, say mine, they don't typically need it as much as like an older car. It just hasn't built up that much grime as an older car would have. But you'll typically see things like rough idle. It won't stay consistent when you're idling. Your RPMs will kind of move up and down and stuff. Your car won't feel as smooth. You'll feel a lack of power when trying to accelerate. I've had my own experience with that, but kind of get into that a little later. You could also experience loss of MPGs. Your MPGs could slowly start diminishing and becoming worse because your car is building up this grime and it's not able to function how it should be. That sort of stuff is typically what you see in like an older car. Like I had an old car myself, 100K plus miles, and it was just very hard to, let's just say, it was hard to accelerate on the highway. It was hard to get a little pass on somebody. I almost had to drop a gear just to gain a little speed, bro. It was terrible, but I put this stuff in my car and it pretty much got rid of that problem. There was still some other stuff I was seeing, like that rough idling. It was still there, so that's probably was from something else, but it did help with it a little bit. It helped with some of those problems. But yeah, I'm not even gonna waste y'all time. We got into it a little bit. Y'all know what it is, kinda. Let's just get right into the real world test. So on Friday, I filled it up, did my due diligence. I tested my MPGs going to work. I don't have to go through traffic or nothing. So it was just a nice 16, 17 mile drive, I believe. And I was able to get 28 or 29 miles per gallon, which is what I usually average going to work. I let the car do its thing over the weekend after I put the cleaner in and stuff. And it come Monday, I went back again to work and I got, boom, got 31, which is a pretty good improvement given the fact that this car is only at 50K and it hasn't had that time to really build up that kind of grime. So to see a 2 miles per gallon increase it's pretty good. I mean, in my opinion, that's worth it enough to be using it in your scheduled maintenance, which brings it to my next point. Now, on the bottle, they recommend like 3,000 to 5,000 miles, I believe. I don't think you should be using it that often. I feel like that's a little overkill unless your car is over 100,000 miles, or let's just 80,000 miles. If your car's over 80,000 miles, I think you should be using it a lot more frequently, like say 5,000. But if you're under that, or if you have like a brand new car, I wouldn't even use this until you're at like 35,000 miles. I don't think there's any point in using it, especially if you go to top tier gas stations like Costco or Shell or Mobil. They all have their own detergents, so you wouldn't even need to use this as often if you do go to those. But say you go to like 7-Eleven, you would have to use it more often, obviously, because they don't really have a detergent that actively fights grime like fuel system cleaners. But yeah, if you want to add it into your scheduled maintenance, I would say do it every oil change if you're above 80,000 miles. If you're lower than that but over 35,000 miles, I would say do it every other oil change. I'm basing that off how often I do my oil changes. I do mine every 5,000 miles. So I would add a system cleaner every 10,000 miles. If that makes sense. Yeah, I do think it's worth it. I think it's worth the money given the fact that it's only $8. I think I paid $8. It was a cheaper one I could have got, but I wanted to go with Techron because they're pretty reliable and I've used that one before. There's also other brands like freaking STP. I know that's another good one. There's a whole bunch. I know that one. That one's a good one too. But yeah, it's definitely worth it. I don't think it's a hoax. I definitely do think it works. It definitely works better on older cars. You'll see a way bigger difference if you use it on an older car than if you use it on a newer car. Leave a comment down below if you've ever used it and how it went for you. Let everybody know in the comments how it went. Let them know if it worked for you, because it's always good to hear multiple opinions, not just mine. Hearing different experiences definitely helps other people out figure out a decision. And I mean, if you have another schedule that you would do, you know, earlier or sooner, more often, less often, I'd love to hear it. But yeah, man, like, comment, all that, help your boy out. Yeah, man, I'll see y'all in the next one.